All right, we're going to get started here. I just want to say thank you for everybody for joining this webinar from Oxford Computer Group. We're going to talk about secure identities and improve compliance with Azure AD Identity Governance. My name is Nathan Mertz. I'm a senior architect at Oxford Computer Group. I'm just going to highlight who Oxford Computer Group is. We're an identity-driven security company. We deliver long-term value-added services for identity and access management, identity governance, and data protection. Who are we and why OCG? We have an 18-year track record deploying identity and hybrid identity solutions. We have 900 plus enterprise projects delivered around the world and over 7 million Office 365 seats deployed. We are Microsoft Identity Partner of the Year, 2013, 14, and 15, and 2018. And in 2020, we're a finalist for Microsoft Security System Integrator of the Year. And we also have deep connections with Microsoft Cloud Engineering team. We can help you with planning and assessment. We do deployment services and managed services. I'm going to do an outline of what we're going to talk about today. If you guys can put questions in the control panel, I can get to those questions at the end. The outline is, what is IGA? Azure IGA features, entitlements, access reviews, audit. I'm going to go through a demo of the Azure IGA administration portal, the end user UI portal, and then I'm going to go through the different, go through an access package workflow demo and then an access review workflow demo. What is IGA? It's a combination of governing the identity lifecycle and governing the access lifecycle. Governing the identity lifecycle, that is managing accounts from your HR, your authoritative source, and provisioning, deprovisioning those accounts to endpoint systems, your joiner leaver, and then self-service of those accounts. And password management is another feature of identity and access management. The access lifecycle is managing access to applications, security groups, roles, and then providing access reviews, access approvals, attestation campaigns, and then separation of duties, and then analytics and reporting. So what does Azure IGA provide? It provides the correct access to the correct resources inside of Azure AD and Azure. It allows for productivity. So you can have self-service without heavy administrative overhead. It can provide just-in-time access. And then auditing, where we can, when access, it can provide when access was given and by who and when it was added or revoked. Is your organization compliant? Are you able to answer some of these questions? Which users should you have access to which resources? What are those users doing with that access? Are there effective organizational controls for managing access? Can auditors verify that the controls are working? With Azure IGA, we can solve some of those and answer some of those questions above. Some of the features with IGA is your identities, so your Azure AD accounts, any accounts that you're provisioning, your PIM, your privileged identity management accounts, external accounts from your B2b or B2c, your entitlements and your roles, and application entitlements. Azure roles being your PIM roles, and then entitlements from multiple application, those roles, and then security groups, Azure AD security groups. Another feature is access, your Azure app access, what can be requested, Azure resources, VMs, other services inside of Azure, and group access. Another feature is the review and certification, access review and verification of user accounts and their access, the ability to remove access on a needed basis, access remediation, and then the workflows for review and certification. And then the last feature is auditing, the logs, the alert of access that is given or revoked in PIM, and then just the IGA reports. What is entitlement management? Well, I'm going to provide a demo, and we talk a lot about entitlement management and access packages, but what is an entitlement management? It's an IGA feature that allows the management of identity lifecycle and governance by automating access requests, access assignments, access reviews, and access expiration. Which entitlements can be managed in Azure? You can manage users' access via membership of Azure AD security groups. We cannot change membership of dynamic and on-premise membership since those are managed from on-prem, or if it's a dynamic group in Azure AD, we cannot manage those groups. But we can manage all other Azure AD security groups that are inside of Azure AD. We can, however, view inside of access reviews, we can approve or deny dynamic or on-premise groups, but it does not reflect any of those approvals or denies inside of the security groups. We can manage access inside of Microsoft 365 groups and teams, and we can assign access to Azure AD enterprise applications, SaaS applications for provisioning and membership of SharePoint online sites. Example, you can give users licenses for Microsoft 365 by using an Azure AD security group in an access package. We'll be discussing an access package here in a second, and configuring group-based licensing for that group. Another example is you can give users access to manage Azure resources by using an Azure AD security group in an access package and creating an Azure role assignment for that group. Entitlement management. So inside of Azure IGA, we have something called a catalog, and that catalog is a container of related resources and access packages. Catalogs are used for delegation so that non-administrators can create their own access packages. Inside of a catalog, we will have resources and access packages. So an access package is a bundle of resources that a team or a project needs and is governed with policies. Policies are a set of rules that define the access lifecycle, such as how users get access, who can approve, how long users have access through an assignment. Assignments are who is assigned, what can be assigned, and requests, who has requested access and what was requested. As we can see at the diagram to the right, we see the Azure AD directory. We see the different resources, which could be security groups, applications, SharePoint sites. And then we see the different requesters, who's allowed to request different access packages, and then the administrator of those access packages. As we can see, there's a catalog. We see resources that are all combined. Then underneath every access package, we have different roles or resources along with the policies that are assigned to those packages. Azure IGA does allow for a tenant-to-tenant connection to directories. You can allow different tenants, external users to your different security groups or your applications, and you can manage those with Azure access packages. Access reviews. So what is an access review? An access review is where we verify correct entitlements to the correct resources for an individual. And who can perform an access review? Well, inside of Azure IGA, we can have the manager do the access review. We can even set it up for self-review. We set it up for owner of a group, or an app can, owner of a group or app can verify access. And when should access reviews be scheduled? Those can be scheduled based upon the application. Maybe auditing, you have to do audit reviews every quarter or yearly or monthly, or it has to do once, and that can be configured for access reviews. So what's an example of an access review? So for privileged identity management, we can manage the different access for administrators. If I have an Azure Active Directory read permissions, I can do access reviews on that, global administrator roles. And then what about access reviews for job transfers? So if I'm an individual or an account that has a job title and I get a new role in the organization, I can do access reviews, and maybe I want to allow that access for a particular amount of time so that user can complete their last job that they're on before they actually transition to their new job. We can do new groups from AD need to be audited, so we can set up new Active Directory groups for access reviews. And then we can do access reviews for the different applications. So if I need a particular security group or a user to be able to log on to, a Box application or Salesforce, I can do that also. And then have an access review on who should have access to Box or Salesforce. The access review inside of Azure IGA, we have a program or a campaign. Some of you might be familiar with IGA terms. Microsoft doesn't really have doesn't use some of the same names as some of the other IGA solutions out there. So a program is considered a campaign, where it's a container of all the related access reviews. We have an access review attestation certification is where access reviews enables organizations to efficiently manage group memberships, access to enterprise applications, and role assignments. So access reviews, it's verifying correct access to the correct resources. It's really the name I really wanted to call this presentation, because I think it means a lot and provides a lot. Policies, it's a set of rules that defines what you want to review and the actions to take based upon those reviews. Who will do the reviewing? When will the review occur? How often? And what should happen on approval or rejection? And then on the right part of this slide, we can see kind of how this is all encapsulated, where there's a program, we have an access review, we have access schedule when that access review needs to happen, and then the policies and settings for that access review. And then we have the access reviewer who reviews the actual access. Another feature is auditing. Azure IGA pretty much manages all Azure AD activities. Inside of Azure IGA, we can see the different administrative tasks that occur, like creating entitlements, creating access reviews. All that information is logged. Who was able to create those entitlements, and who approved those entitlements and access reviews when they were created. In access packages, we see if someone has to approve access or makes a request and there needs to be approval, we see all the approvals, rejections, the removals, we see notifications of those requests. And then inside of the access reviews, there's two different auditing sections inside of the access reviews. One is the actual access workflow, what is approved, what is denied, who's doing that approval and denial. And then there is a series of access reviews, which are the administrative tasks, like what service has changed, the status for that change for the access review, who's making that change, and what activity was done. And then there's IGA reports, which show access packages for a user, who can like what that user can request and what is assigned to a particular user, and then a resource assignments for a user. So these are all user-based reports. So you put in a user account and it provides you the information of what was requested or what was assigned and what the resource assignments were. Licensing. What licensing is needed for IGA? To use Azure AD Entitlement Management, you must have one of the following licenses: Azure AD Premium P2 or Enterprise Mobility and Security. Demo. The first part of the demo, I'm going to go over the Azure IGA Administration Portal, and then the next piece would be the end user interface, which is the My Access portal. And then I'm going to give a demo of approval request. I'm going to have a requester request access to a demo IGA security group inside of Azure AD. They're going to submit that request. That request is going to go to an approver. We'll see the email that was generated for that request, and then we'll see the action, what the approver is able to do if they want to approve or deny that request. And then the second piece of the demo is demo of access reviews. We're going to demo the IGA security group, or do an access review on the demo IGA security group. We're going to have a reviewer or approver. They're going to see what access, we're going to see what access is out there for the IGA security group, all the accounts that are in that security group, and then we are going to either approve or deny access to that security group after a review process, review time. All right, so I'm going to get to the demo. All right, so here is the identity governance screen. It's part of the portal.azure. On the left, we can see the different navigation bar. We can see the entitlement management, where we can manage different security groups, application resources. It's where we have our access packages, our catalogs that contain our access packages, connected organizations, where we have the ability to connect to other Azure tenants for user accounts, reports where we're doing the seeing what access a particular user has, settings, so where you can deny, not deny external users. Access reviews shows the different access reviews that were created, the programs, which are the encapsulation of the different access reviews, the privileged identity management. These two links go to the PIM portal, where you manage PIM roles, your global administrators, and then you can manage the workflow processes for approvals, just-in-time access, stuff like that. We won't be going over too much of the PIM. Terms of use. This is just creating a terms of use, saying, okay, if you want access to this particular resource, you have to agree to this particular terms of use, and you can create that inside of this portal. After I go through the workflow demos, I'm going to go back through the access packages and access reviews and kind of show you the administrative side of those also. Now here is the user interface that an end user will see. So they would go to myaccess.microsoft.com, and they'd be able to see the different access packages that they have. That they have the ability to request. And then I can select these and request access. I can see what is active, what is has expired for packages of the ones that I have the ability to see. I can see my past request history for this account. I can see any approvals that I need to approve or deny, and I can see the history of those also. And then I can see the access reviews, and these show me the different access reviews that I have the ability to go in and approve or deny access, and then just the different access packages. If they're created, I can approve or deny those also. So now I logged in. I'm going to show the requester approver for the access packages. So I'm going to provide access or request access for the demo IGA security group. I logged in as requester 3. After I request access, I'm going to log in as the approver and then approve access for this individual. So this is where I would have the ability to go in and request maybe a security group or access to a particular resource. This is where I'd log in and be able to do that. So I request access. Right here, I have reasons why, justification why I would need access to this. I need access because I want to complete this demo. Business justification, it can be, you know, anything, but these are required fields. Inside the administration section that I can show later is that you don't have to have, and you can create custom security questions or justification, and you can have justification required or not required. Also, you can request for a specific time period. I can say, oh yeah, I only need access for this for like 2 weeks, and then add those dates in there and then hit submit. So I'm just going to leave it as this. Complete demo, submit. So my demo security group access package is being processed. Oh, great. So as you can see, my approval showed up. I thought I would have an email, but the email hasn't gotten here yet. But as you can see right here in these, in Outlook, they can send you, IGA, Azure IGA will send emails for approvals. Oh, here it is. Great. Now I can select this icon and it should open up that My Access and go right to my approvals. And there it is. So and access reviews, we can get reminders on access reviews that will show up inside of Outlook, and all I do is select the access review or the approval, and I go right to My Access, and I have the ability to manage approvals and access reviews. So I selected the access request for requester 3. It shows what package is being requested, the details of this request, their business justification, and then the package details. It's a demo IGA group is what is the security group, and they want to become a member of that group. Approval history is just pending approval. Nothing has happened yet. Provide the reason for approval. Like I said, I need to complete this demo. So I'm going to approve. So so the approver has approved the request. So the request is delivering. So it takes a couple seconds, maybe a minute or two, for the user to actually be added to that security group or to that package. So we'll come back here in a minute and we can review this. Just want to make sure that okay. There it is. So my access package, it's active. I have access to the demo IGA security group. And it starts right now, and my end date is really till, someone comes in, does an access review, and removes me from that security group. All right. So we saw the workflow of the access request, where I'm requesting access to a particular resource that was being the demo IGA security group. Approver approved that request. And now we're going to look at access reviews. So I'm logged in as myself. I'm an administrator. I have access to all these different all the different access packages. I'm going to go to the portal real quick, the admin portal, so I can show you the actual access review, the actual, okay. So I just want to show you the kind of the report graph right here. So I have about 67 users that are part of this demo IGA security group. I have 59 users that have been approved. I have one that's been denied. I have one that I don't know. The approval, denial, and don't know, those are selections that we will see inside of the user interface. And then the 6 not reviewed. So we're going to select some of those 6 not reviewed and see those and make a decision on what we want to do with those. So the name of this access review is Demo Security Group Access Review 329. So as you can see, it shows me all the users that are a part of this access review. I have the ability to approve, deny, or I don't know, as in I don't know what to do with this individual. And then I have recommendations. Recommendations show what is recommended to do with that user account. For this scenario, since I've created a bunch of user accounts and they've never logged in, it says, hey, deny these user accounts because they've never logged in. And then, but as you can see, I've actually denied and approved some of these, except for Alice in Chains. I'm going to select Alice in Chains and I'm going to approve them so they can still keep having access to this security group. So I'm going to approve it, and I have to provide a reason why. All right. So we can see that it is approved. I approved it. And also I can come in here. If I'd like, I can reset the decisions that I have made in the past. And so, you know what? I want to change everybody. So I reset it all, and it all goes back to I haven't made a decision. I mean, you do have the ability to select all users and approve them, or select all users and deny them. Or you can do the different filters. So I can show everybody that's been denied and then reset those decisions and then change them to something else. All right. All right, so I made that decision. I went down from 6 not reviewed to 5 reviewed, and I've approved 60 now. So we saw the user interface for the reviewer approver, and now we can see the actual the administrative side where we can actually see the results of what was approved, reason why they were approved. I can see the different reviewers. And I can see the settings for this access review. I can see the recommendations, like show me recommendations for what I need to do. Should I approve them or deny them? Mail notifications. So if you want to be notified when the access review should happen, or a reminder that you need to go in and review access. We can set it up to being require reason on approval. So I can say disabled, that when I approve it, it's done. There's no reason that anybody, that I need to add anything. In scheduling, this is the current access review, so it only shows the date being that I set this up yesterday, and it has a 4-day lifespan. And then I can set it up. So after I complete, approve, deny, whatever, but if I'm approving, what happens to the resource? Do I apply those results? So if I approve access to a security group, do they keep access? If I disable that, if this is enabled and I go in and deny them, and this is enabled, does it remove them immediately? I can set that up. And then what if I don't do anything? If I don't make any changes to the access, do I say, oh, if there's no changes or I don't do anything, what happens? No change, or I remove access, or I automatically approve everything if I'm, not doing my job, or I just take all the recommendations that are in the system and it does it. And then it shows the audit logs of everything that has happened. So everything that I've approved, everything I've denied. So we can see the last access review, I approved that security group or access to that security group for Allison Chains. And I can see different object that I made changes to. And then there's the series. So if I can say, I want to run this access review every quarter, so it'll show me the different series of these access requests and how I have those configured, when they're scheduled for review. And that's taking a couple seconds. Great. We'll just go to the review history. No history because I'm still in the first access review, so there's no history here. And then audit logs. So this shows the administrative logs where I'm actually just created the access. So that was the access review workflow, and then I showed the access review administration pieces. Now I'm going to show the details of the access packages. So I'm going to look at the demo security group access page is the access package that we did the request approval for. As you can see here, we have the ability to, on this overview page, you can see where we have catalog and it can be hidden. So we can hide this access package from people, or we can not keep it hidden. And we have a link directly to the actual request. So you can send that out or put that on or maybe on a help desk page or something like that. Say, oh, if you need access to this, select this link, and you have the ability to go directly into that link to the my access and request access to that security group. The resource roles. So the resource role is the actual security group. So I can say, hey, add access resource. This is where I can add different groups, different applications, SharePoint sites. So I can say, hey, here's some security groups. Let me add this in here. I can show the different applications. So I can do. So I can select all the different, I can select Box, I can select Cisco, Azure AD Portal. And then the different policies that I have. So I'm going to select the policy that was created for this, which is just you put in the name and the description, the request, who has the ability to request this access package to this resource. So I can do for users in the directory, I can say external users. I can say only administrators can assign directly. I can say specific, I can select specific users and groups. If I select for users in this directory, say all members excluding guests, or just all users including guests. Approval, I say require approval, yes or no. Require requester justification, that's yes or no. How many stages of requesting? So first is one approver. I can set up two where it goes to another approver after or before my how many people have to approve this. Who are the approvers? I can have more than one approver. How many days does it take for, how long does that user have to approve this? The maximum is 14 days. Require approver justification. So if I'm the approver, I have to provide justification. And if no action is taken, forward to an alternate approver. Yep, I can set that up also. And then enable, so this is just enabling yes or no of the actual access policy. Requester information. So this is why do I need access? I can set up multiple different questions and have these required. So this one, so for the demo that I provided, why do you need access to this? Why do you need this group? And you have to, provide justification for that. Then lifecycle, access package assignments expire. Do they expire after a certain amount of time or a certain date? So you can set up an access package, a policy that lasts, 30 days, 60 days, or on a specific date, no more access is provided. So then that access package is then expired. And when you set up a policy, it creates you don't have to do an access review, but this would be the initial access review that is created. If you select yes, you can say, put in the date of when it starts, and if it's annually, biannually, monthly. And then how long does that access review last? And you can do self-review or specific reviewers. Select reviewers, I just put in myself. You can have multiple people. So there's the access packages. Catalogs are a collection of different access packages, so we can align different catalogs based upon maybe department. So we can have like marketing. We can do it based upon application, or if you're IT, or if it's engineers, all kinds of different ways. And then we can create a catalog and then assign different access packages to those catalogs. Connected organizations, this is where I can connect a external provider or Office 365 tenant. Reports. So this is where I show the different access for a particular user. So it shows the access packages I can request and the packages that are assigned, and then any resource assignments for a particular user. So it shows me what resources I have been assigned to. Not just the packages, but the actual resources. And what policies allowed me to be assigned to that resource and when that occurred. Okay, that is all I have for the slideshow or slide deck and the demo. So now I will take questions. See if I can get a better representation of the questions that are out there. All right. The first question I have, I don't know if anybody can see the questions that I have. Can you do access reviews for B2b and B2c? Yes, you can. As you can see earlier, we can do guest accounts, we can do connected organizations, and bringing those accounts in. As you can see, when we were creating our policies, we have the ability to do external users or any guest accounts. The second question is, can you grant access to an on-premise application? If so, how is that done via group write back? You can only apply access to an application that's doing single sign-on for an application that's on-premise. You cannot do access, grant access via security group or which are maintained from Azure AD Connect or Dynamic. Via group write back would not work. It just does not add or remove those the user to those groups. But I have a Oxford does have a solution. I think, so if you would like to talk to us, we do have an ability to use the IGA APIs and provide something that would work to make those changes on-prem. Can Azure IGA do any other access requests that are not Azure Microsoft account based, like third-party support? It'd only be third-party external guest accounts, B2C and B2B accounts. The next question is, can different teams be delegated different function within the IGA? One team responsible for PIM, another team responsible for access tasks like packages and reviews. Yes, you can. So you can have different user accounts or groups make changes to the ability to create access packages, but not do access reviews. And it doesn't have to be just, it can be, say if I'm a marketing department, I can delegate to individuals in the marketing department to create access packages just for their team. The second question here is, what value would a third-party vendor such as SailPoint or Savient provide given the current portal functions now available? Oh, that's a great question. So IGA does not provide the ability to do separation of duties. That's one thing it doesn't have the ability to do right now. But for access reviews, access requests, access packages, I think since we're only managing Azure AD accounts, SailPoint and Savient can do those also. It can manage your on-premise Active Directory, and it has the ability to do connectors to Azure AD and your on-premise and bring those accounts into one source, or into Savient or SailPoint, and then you can do access reviews based on that. So I would say that Azure IGA is really Azure AD or Azure specific as of right now. It does do applications for single sign-on and providing access to that and security groups, but since it can't manage your on-prem security groups, I don't think it's as robust. I hope that in the future that it is. Does this IGA manage access outside of Azure? Some application tied to a database? No. And as much as identity is concerned, now that MIM is EOL, what other options are there to perform the provisioning process, which is all but absent from the functionality synchronized from HR and automating the provisioning based on criteria and policies? There's third-party applications that are out there. There's Savient, there's SailPoint. There's some other SaaS-based applications that allow for provisioning also. But I'm a MIM user, still a MIM user. Still like the provisioning with MIM. I'm sad that it's EOL also. What is the application? Another question is, what if the application that you want to grant access is a SAML application that doesn't support just-in-time, skim, or automatic provisioning? Can IGA either provision the user in that app or create a ticket task for someone to do it manually? I would say that we can, it wouldn't be able to create a ticket or a task. You would have the ability to, if you did an approval of, someone requested access to a particular application, we could create, inside of the access policy, we have the ability to change the email template that goes to the approver. So the approver would have the ability to say, okay, yeah, I have to approve this, and along with this approval, I have to create this user account manually in this system, or provide access in the system manually. Is it possible to perform reviews on subset of users as opposed to the entire organization domain? If so, what options are available for creating subsets? So the reviews are based upon the resource that is. So if I have a security group and it has 60 user accounts in it, that's who I'm reviewing, is just those 60 accounts. Maybe I'm missing that question. So it's specific on the actual who's in those security groups for the resources, or the app who has access to that application. It's not the entire organization or domain. And another question, and can I delegate different teams oversight over different user subsets? Yes. Can you assign an access package based on something of a user, like their title or job code? You would create a dynamic Azure AD group, and then assign that group to the access package based upon their title. Their job code would be, you'd have to create the dynamic Azure AD group, and then you could assign that group to the package. Can I automatically assign access pattern or something of a user like title or job code? Only if it's an Azure AD dynamic group. Do you know if there's a way to tie into a help desk platform such as ServiceNow? It doesn't do tie-ins to help desk. The only way you would be able to do that is through the audit logs. It's reading the logs and making decisions off of that, like with the SIM. Another question is, if we already have an IGA solution that can do access reviews, would it make sense to do the Azure reviews in the solution or in the Azure solution? I think it really depends on if you're wanting to not use your old other solution for access reviews. Can Azure even do those access reviews? How does auditing view doing access reviews in multiple IGA solutions? Can we automate birthright access requests for new users? Yes, you can. You can. The way we could do that is based upon when a user is created, based upon a particular attribute, we could add them to a dynamic group. And then that dynamic group is part of an access package, and then we just can do an auto approve. So that could be a security group or to a particular application. I think that's all the questions. There's 4 minutes left. I can stay on the line. If there's any more questions. Since there's no more questions, I just want to say thank you very much. Please reach out to us if you to Oxford Computer Group. We'd be more than happy to discuss any identity and access management questions, solutions, and IGA questions and solutions. Just please reach out to us. info@oxfordcomputergroup.com. We have a Twitter account and Facebook. I just want to say thank you for everyone that joined today, and have a great day.